Previously on Euro Truck Simulator 2.
Oh my god. I just got my name on it. Turn these windscreen wipers off and watch the water drip across the windscreen. It's kind of very cool. Ease off as we come up to our chemical plant. Lisette Logistics. I'm hoping they've got something for me.
Turn left.
Hello and welcome back to Euro Truck Simulator 2. We've still got our lovely new trailer. So up here we've got our lovely new Feldbinder. I think I'm right actually as pronouncing that. I think I'm pretty close. Feldbinder. I've got a little bit of a German on the back of it. Yeah, Feldbinder. Anyway, so we've still got our lovely trailer there. We've got this beautiful truck, which bizarrely seem to match up the colours almost for the oranges. I don't know why I managed to do that, but I've got my lovely Renault here. My what have we got? Renault Premium. There we go. Lots of fuel remaining in the whole thing. So there was a big world map change, but it didn't actually change where I was. So let's just go find a job to take us through through this episode and see where we get to. So let's see what we can find from Rochelle. So we need to get something from Rochelle, and we need to take it to... It's interesting, the way that cargo appears in Euro Truck Simulator 2 is slightly different than the way it does in the American one. The American one, it would be there'd be like a pile of bubbling chemicals for the chemicals. In this one, it doesn't seem to do it. Maybe it's just because this is kind of a new add-on for the game, and it's not quite the way it should be yet. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to find a job that will take us here to however you pronounce that. That's the nuclear power plant. Or, alternatively, there's nothing in Germany. Ah, there we go. No, they do. They do them as piles of whatever else. I don't know why these ones are slightly different. It's weird, that, actually. Slightly weird. I suppose they're drums, aren't they? So maybe it's based on the fact that this is, as I say, these adding the trailers like this is slightly different than they used to be. Right, Strasbourg is right the way over the other side. Does that take us past somewhere we need to go past? It sort of does. How long's the journey? It's a long journey, that one. We don't really want to loop around on ourselves. It may be this one. What's this one got on it? On board. Class 2. So hot chemicals. Taking it as a standard delivery and expires very shortly. Oh, 816 kilometres, 10 hours and 39. Am I going to be able to stop in between? Let me look at the time at the moment. So it's Saturday, 1:50 p.m. It's not meant to be until Sunday at... So there's probably a stop in here. So we can probably do a stop here and then finish it all off. So let's go. That's the GPS and let's go get this stuff. Let's go get these hot chemicals. Hot chemicals. Opposed to cold chemicals. I do you know something? In my head, I'm like, what the hell are hot chemicals? Really, honestly. Right. Oh, we're just going up the road from where we are. He says, just turning the truck around on this spot here at 1:50 a.m. So we're going to travel through the night a little bit here.
Get ready to turn left.
We'll drive all night. Drive all night to get to you.
Then turn right.
So they're on flashing. It means I can go if there's nothing else coming. Looks pretty cool. So we're into here, which is the chemical place we were just at, actually. Lisette. That's the one. The Lisette Chemical Factory.
We are finished.
We are finished. That is correct, Doug. We are finished, my friend. We're properly finished. So let's have a little look in here. Let's find these cargo. And let's find the one we want there. To Montpellier. Where do we want to go? I think we can go either way around this building. I think the sensible option's this way. I don't know why this feels like the sensible option. Use the car park to help us out. There's a little garage at the top of here. I remember going through here with a double trailer once, one of these things. It was a bit nightmarish, but I think this will be all right. Oh, look at that! Some ducting of some sort. Right, let's kind of cheat a little bit here. This should get us pretty square with where we want to be. Already. So we'll look over our shoulder and we'll get these two things lined up just nice and neatly. There we go. It's a bit of a cheat. That's what. Do you know something? I think my brain was like, yeah, they're gonna put it over the other side of this. So we'll just drive it straight in. Come on, brain, wake up. That's not straight. I can tell it's not straight. Let's just straighten that up. Some chemical towers or something in front of us, possibly. Right. Let's take this baby home. There we go. I've made a bit of a boo-boo here. I was going to make myself a cup of coffee before I went and started doing this, and then I've started doing this and forgot to get a coffee. Right, okay, anyway. We'll push the button, we'll fill her up. There we go, we're loading our cargo. Not really what I would call a loading bay for it. I don't know how you're going to load a tanker like that unless there's some kind of, I don't know, something connected to it. Anyway, let's get back in the tanker, let's go. All the lights flashing in the dash there. Said this before about these. They're very much a car with a sort of car-like feel, I think, to the dashboard in this. It's very sort of simplistic and simple, which is good. It's a good thing. I think if you were a new trucker and sort of, you know, you got one of these, you'd probably be quite pleased. You'd be like, ah. It's very simplistic, this, you know, nothing terribly difficult to think about. I mean, you got modern cars nowadays, you've got loads of buttons, don't you? You know, loads and loads of buttons. I saw that there was a complaint recently, I think it was about the Volkswagen, I think it's the ID3, which is kind of like the Volkswagen Golf, but obviously the electric version of it. And the major complaint from people was quite a weird one, realistically. The complaint was, it doesn't have enough buttons. It's all basically run from a single tablet type. Well, I've just caused a ruction here. I've caused a ruction. There we go. Yeah, come on, good people, squeeze through. There we go, ruction sorted. He says, come on. Sort of sorted. They can get past me at least. Well, this car is only sensible. If this car's sensible, it'll move on in a minute. There we go. No, nothing got crashed into. So yeah, the ID3, they basically said that everybody's like, all it's got is a tablet in the middle that controls the entire car. There's no switches or anything like that. So I think all you get is like your basic sort of drive and reverse and neutral, obviously, and park, and then you get sort of, I guess, gear stick sort of thing to do sort of, you know, to not gear sticks to things, you know, your shifter thing, not shifter, no, what's the word I'm looking for? Indicators. God, that took a long time to get to. I had 2 cups of coffee and I can't get to indicators. Anyway, but indicators, so your indicators, and I guess there'll be very little else on the actual steering wheel.
Right.
Nothing at all. No stalks of and no buttons. Just everything on the sort of the tablet. So, you know, with your volume and whatever else it is. I was in a hybrid Skoda not that long ago, so one of these Skoda Octavia ones, the hybrid ones, and the volume button, which bizarre positioning. Volume button is on the it's like a slider that you run your finger up and down underneath the stereo. So there's like the stereo in the middle where it tells you, what channel of the radio you're listening to, or whether you're playing something from your mobile. And it's like a slider. You run your finger up and down. It took me ages to work it out. I was in with somebody else, and they were driving, and I was like, "How do I turn the music down?" And they were like, "No, you put your finger on there, you drag it backwards and forwards." I'm like, "Really?" It wasn't like, I wouldn't call it intuitive. The thing about vehicles and cars and things like that is that you hope it's intuitive. I think if you got, that's why we go back to this truck as well. If you got into this truck, it's fairly intuitive about what you're looking at here. I think you know that where the buttons are and where the buttons aren't, and all the other things that go with it. It's just certain other things aren't as intuitive as they could be, and this is just one of those examples of it not being quite as intuitive. With the whole thing, I'm really wishing I've got a cup of coffee. I'm sitting here thinking about coffee as I drive along the road. Oh, the wife's heard me. We're good. Mrs. Damon's coming. Here you go, Mrs. Damon. Here's my cup. Brought me cup, look. There you go, Mrs. Damon. Got important driving to be done. She's gone, So I don't think she thinks it's important driving. You've been a driver before. You know how important it is to get the load there. Flipping things over. I need some lubrication when I'm working on these things. All right, 9 hours and let's do the GPS, because we haven't done GPS. 10 minutes in, we haven't done GPS. So bottom right hand corner, we've got speed 82 kilometers an hour. We've got the gear automatic 12, followed by a little truck picture, which is the damage to the truck, followed by the diesel, which is there, followed by the bed, which is properly empty at the moment, because slowly goes blue, then goes red, and then we cry a lot because I usually crash into something. There's something on the road ahead. Something on the road ahead. We've had to slow off. Everybody's rubbernecking. Yeah, police car. Over here, look. Somebody been stopped. Probably for speeding. There's lights flashing across the vehicle. Then we got the envelope, which is sadly underused. It's only really used when you start the game, when you add new DLC. Then you've got the time, which is 3:40 a.m. Then below that, we've got a little red flag, and I've now got a fresh cup of coffee. Beauty. We've got the time, which we're going to get in at, which is the little red flag. Oh, God, yeah, that's fine, crash into me. Which is a Saturday at 13:24. We definitely have a stop amongst all this. I haven't yet been very naughty here. I haven't actually put the side tracking place we want to go on to. Let's lose the hard shoulder in a second. But anyway, 738 kilometers, 9 hours and 13 minutes game time. Let's put the indicators on. We're going to pull up on the edge of the road here. Shouldn't do this on a motorway, but anyway, let's do this so that we can get to this other place that I need to go to. Oh, it's a nuclear power plant. I don't think we're going to score anything from this. We have to deliver to them to get the achievement. So I'm not going to do it. What I'm going to do is, where's the place to stop? That one there. There's going to be our first sort of place there, I think. Yeah, it's checkpoint. It's 300 kilometers. That's probably about spot on, and then we can continue on with the journey. So yeah, I didn't realize it was a nuclear power plant. I probably would have avoided doing that. There we go. Let me back on. Thank you very much. 4 a.m. What? You are kidding? Did he pull across me? He did. He pulled across and smashed into me. Except I got into trouble for it because, of course, I was the guilty party there with my poor driving. Doesn't matter. We're all okay. Everybody's okay. Well, my hot liquids are probably a bit. My hot chemicals, my hot liquid, my juices are a bit warm now. My warm juices. Shouldn't be let out. Oh dear. The only thing I can remember when it comes to, I mean, I'm sure chemical spills are no joke, really. They won't be. There was one close to me where a truck had shed its load of all things, glue. It shed its load of glue. This should go auto pass through this one. Lovely. Yeah, it shed this glue all over the road and onto a slip road of the M6, and anybody who drove through the glue, which it had shed, obviously because it's shedding glue, anybody who'd driven through the glue, every single car was a write-off because it had got into all of the gears, the mechanisms, the wheels, the brakes, everything. The cars were just not repairable. The glue had got everywhere, and it was extremely strong sort of glue, and I'm not sure what it was for. But I remember it was a really weird thing. But yeah, talking about chemical spills, that's one of the few that I know of where glue was involved in it. And thankfully I didn't go through it. I wasn't going that particular way, but a friend of mine did. And they literally took his car in to look at it and discovered that there was glue everywhere, all over the innards, all over the brakes, all of the inside the engine, everywhere. And they wrote it off there and then. That was it. It was gone. Wrote it off. Every car that went through that glue at that early time when they were behind this truck where it fell off, and they were like buckets of glue, if that makes the right terminology. There were sort of plasticated buckets that fell off this truck. It shed half its load, continued on down the road. I don't think it realised how much it shed. Continued off down the road, and as I say, covered the slip road with glue. And anybody who drove through it, every car was written off. Absolutely every car, expensive BMWs to sort of, you know, your basic Ford. We all had it. My friend had a Renault, and his Renault, what was it? Oh no, it was a Nissan. Is it Nissan Duke? The Duke. He had a Duke. To be fair though, it's probably worth writing that off because it's not exactly the prettiest of cars in the world. It's a bit unfair, isn't it? Isn't one of the prettier cars in the world, let's be honest. So we'll write that one off. But yeah, he had a Duke and it was written off. He was quite upset about that, to be honest, because he hadn't had it that long either. So but yeah, it was a weird one. But the only other one I can think of chemical-wise when it came to spill is it's not really a chemical spill. It's what they crashed into. Do you remember RoboCop? Have you ever seen the original RoboCop? So this is the 1988 movie, I think it is, or 1987. I think it's 87. In 87, one of the bad guys crashes into a chemical tank and then literally melts as he comes out of it. It's quite a grotesque scene. It's a good scene, but it's quite a grotesque scene. He dies sort of melting, you know, sort of like a witch from Wizard of Oz. I'm melting. Yeah, sort of like that. That's exactly how it went. Right, we're not stopping at this one. This is not our first one to stop at. I'm not stopping here. We're working our way through the daytime now. Plenty of thick traffic at the moment. We've got the density up. Somebody asked me whether the density traffic change would work on the demo version. Stop playing the demo version and buy the original. It's a bigger game. It's a bigger game. You know, it's and to be fair, it's on sale so often you can't really go wrong, can you? I've been looking at bus simulator games recently again. Kind of liked my bus simulator, but I've really gone off 18 since I just can't get motivated to drive around the same bit for 45 minutes to fail again. You know, I've done it so many times at this point. Just can't get myself motivated to get back to bus simulator 18. 22. I know they've done lots and lots of updates recently. Again, I'm not motivated to get back to it. There are a few on Steam. There are The Bus, which you may have seen. There is Bus Simulator 22, which is not to be confused with the other bus simulator. I think it's Bus Driver Simulator 22, which is not to be confused. Apparently it's okay, not particularly the best reviews for that one. The bus requires a vast amount of processing power apparently, and the other one that has taken my has piqued my interest is one called I think it's called the Bus Driver or something similar. If you can just put in bus, you'll find lots of simulators and whatever else is. And this one is where you kind of drive. You can choose your own routes. It's not really I wouldn't call it a simulation like this. It's not like going to give you the whole business simulation like you do with Bus Simulator 18, but you get to drive all kinds of things, and then after a while you get a chance to drive disasters. I know that sounds really weird, but we're talking like driving a bus in a tsunami to save people, and delivering the people to of all places, Chernobyl. You know, it's like really weird. You know, or getting them out of Chernobyl for those accidents that go on there. Yeah, it's a weird one. It really is. I have to admit, I was kind of like, it looks interesting because it starts very pedestrian, obviously, in the way it works. You know, it's a bus simulator, driving here, choose your own routes, do tourism and all this kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden it heads into this sort of dystopic future where you're saving people from tsunamis and the buses are getting washed away and things like that. Looks really quite interesting. I'm not keen on playing 20 quid for it yet, though. I think even my sort of my fascination for it doesn't stretch as far as laying down that kind of money for it. But yeah, really interesting. Quite like that one. They're all going to stay over there. This is a lovely day. Look at that, swinging around. I was on a junction the other day, not too long back, a week ago or so, I would say, because since I hurt my back, you know, I've hurt my back again. But I don't know what I'm feeling. I'm feeling okay with it, if that makes sense. But I'm using specific drugs that are helping me cope with the pain of the whole thing. But yeah, I've got specific drugs for that. But one of the things is, go back a couple of weeks ago, I was at a junction. Where was I now? I was over in Yorkshire. North Yorkshire. I was over in North Yorkshire, and I stopped because we wanted to get something to eat, me and my colleagues. So I stopped. We stopped at this service station, and there was like a Greggs on our side, and I love a Greggs just as much as the X-Man. You know, I'm not going to wear the T-shirt, of course, but even though you can get the T-shirt, I mean, to be fair, it's a Greggs T-shirt. It's pretty cool. I mean, let's be honest. People will wear McDonald's things, so there's no difference there, is there? Really? But I had a hankering for a burger, so I wanted to go over to Burger King, which was on the other side. And it was like, it's on the other side now. This service station, and this is lunchtime. Bear in mind, this is lunchtime as well. This service station was pretty much sparse. It was dressed in 1960s sort of walls, and it was that fake marble on the floor, and then wood panelling on the sides, which had seen better days, and it was dirty and greasy, and the thing was, we wanted to get to the Burger King, but the Burger King was on the other side of the road, but there was one of these tunnels that goes over, you know, sort of bridges that go over, the glass bridges that go over. But this was like one of the longest glass bridges I've ever been over. It quite literally. There was like a 2-lane going backwards and forwards of the service station he crossed over, followed by the 3-lane of the motorway, followed by the other 3-lane on the other side, followed by another 2-lane. I don't think I've ever walked across 10 lanes before on a bridge. 10 lanes we crossed on this thing. 10 lanes for the bridge across this thing to get a Burger King, and we had the Burger King and sort of, you know, and chatted away and whatever else, and walked back in, and it was just kind of cool. It was just but it was like, just as we were going along there, you know, was overtaking there, and just got that feeling, that flashback of that crossing over over that bridge, and just this massive sort of selection of traffic, and there was plenty of traffic as well. It was pretty busy. I mean, it was a busy road, and there was lots and lots of traffic, and it was just so weird, sort of crossing all over all of this stuff. I can't get excited. I get excited about service stations. I don't know about anybody else, but I actually personally have a favourite service station. Right, I do have a favourite service station. I think service stations are like a hub of human nature. I rather like it. I often joke to myself that you know, when I get old enough and I retire, I'm just going to take my car on a regular basis and just drive to this hub of human nature and write a book about the service station. Just write a book about, you know, introduce myself to poor people that are there, and write a book about the service station itself and the people that are coming and going in. Because got to remember, the service stations, everybody comes and goes to service stations. Everybody. There's lots of people that come and go to service stations. People that only stop because it's a service station. You know, this is part of their destination. This is their journey where they're going to. they're just kind of a hub of it. But I've got a personal favourite one. It's for a number of reasons. One of which is its design. It's probably not one of the better designed service stations in the sense of how they want things there, but it's clever. It works well, especially if you're enjoy the experience of look at that, we're thundering through together. But if you enjoy the sort of experience, so let me just explain what this thing's like. Imagine a horseshoe shape, yeah. So one side of the short horseshoe, the top of the horseshoe. So you've got one set of doors that come into it, and then one on the other side. So you've got it's a little bit in the centre of the whole thing. So it's a horseshoe shape. So you walk through one set of doors, and sort of to your left, in the centre, through the middle, which goes round that horseshoe, is an actual area where you can eat. So it's a shared eating area between the many eating establishments within it. This is, as I say, it's a weird one because it has a shop. Obviously, they have a few shops. So, but eatery wise, it's probably one of the most vastly sort of covering the gamut of things there. It has in it a Burger King, which is at one side. Opposite it has a KFC, and then beside that it has a Harry Ramsden. Beside that it has a Starbucks. Now I think that covers quite a few of the major brands there. Then you've got a WH Smith's in the middle with a Krispy Kreme donut place as well, just stuck on the side of it just in case you needed that. And then round on the other side, it's got a little Waitrose supermarket. It's got the traditional sort of tiny little alcove of fruit machines and slot machines there. And then you've got, obviously, the lavatories, which are tucked off just off the side. But they're all this horseshoe going round each other, with the Burger King slapped between the middle of the two doors from either side. And this, as I say, a resting area. So because of the nature of it, you literally sitting in the middle, you can watch the entire world go by. The entire world literally passes your eye line. You can see everybody in the place, who's coming where, what they're discussing, what they're doing, what queues they're going to, and other things. And the only other thing that it has, because it's just over the border in Scotland on the M6, the only other thing it has, which is really quite interesting as well, is it has a Scotland shop which sells those kitsch things that you expect, little toys in plastic tubes with kilts on and bagpipes and tartan things that really are just. I mean, anywhere else you'd call it tat, but it's Scotland. It's those other things that they put out, those are the things that, and some local crafts as well. I'll give them that. They've got some local crafts, but it's just an interesting place, and it's extremely popular. If you go at an average lunchtime, the overflow car park will be full to capacity. The main car park will be full to the capacity. And the way that it works will be full to capacity. It is a absolutely one of these things that so many people come to. And I think it's because it's one of the first service stations you go to that technically in Scotland, well, it is Scotland, definitely Scotland, that are in Scotland that's just over the border. And it's kind of a weird thing that, as a result, and by the way, I'm seeking my coffee here. It's in front of me. I want my coffee now. I've got coffee. Hang on, I'm driving off the side of the road. Coffee. I love coffee. Anyway, so yeah, just one of those weirdest places. I mean, I don't know if anybody else has got a favourite service station. I think the worst one I ever went to was just on the one of the M50 something others near Bolton, and it was. I mean, it wasn't kitsch like that. I mean, I was saying about the other one, it was like 1960s and greasy on the walls and all that kind of stuff. It still wasn't horrible as a service station. No, this one was just particularly. It was just grimy and horrible, and it was a very poor atmosphere in it. People were just there to get the job done of having to eat or get some fuel or something similar, and you kind of it wasn't sort of as interesting as the one I've gone to. I was talking about there. The one I'm talking about there it's just genuinely interesting as a as a place to visit. I aptly, it's kind of one of the easiest places to go if you want to get because I do like a burger occasionally, only occasionally, because they're like 2,000 calories, those stupid things, if you get a large version of it. But it's really interesting to. I think this is where our rest stop is, by the way. In the morning, it'll be the evening when we're driving again, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm going to come through a bit further down so I can get to the rest stop easier. Yeah, there's our rest stop here. So I'm going to go through. I can't go through that one. They're off. Let's go through this one, which I have to pay for, but at least... Oh, sorry, truck. I have to pay for this one, but at least I'm only 366 kilometres away. I do think service stations are one of those weird things, especially somewhere like that, because on the scale of things, being in a sort of, it's just one of those. It's because it's such a central focal point for entering, leaving England and entering Scotland, and or the other way around, leaving Scotland and entering England. I think it's one of these. It's a poignant place that ends up being a sort of focal point for people. Arriving in the country. So. Right, okay. So we're going to put the engine off now. I'll push the button. It'll be night time by the time we finish. Oh, 6 o'clock. It's not that late. It looks good though. That truck is such a gorgeous looking truck. I'm loving the orange. Big fan of orange. Now I'm not watching. Obviously, this is. I'm on the day before before the England match, so I have no idea whether England has won against France. So if they have, excellent. If they haven't, oh dear. So we'll see, because they're facing one of the better teams at this point. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'm going to move over because he's just going to pull on. There you go. They do that. They just swerve onto the motorway sometimes. Fair, I did make you space, didn't I? I made you space. I'm a good boy. So 4 hours and 39 minutes left down there in the bottom right hand corner. We're on our way. We've got hot chemicals. Rebecca F has leveled up down there. I haven't. Do you know what I haven't checked on is the status of my drivers for a while. Having a little look at that for a while. Been too busy just enjoying the process of driving, enjoying that experience. Kind of wish that there was an option to, and I know it's not really part of the driving experience, but I kind of wish there was an option to kind of get out and walk around from the truck. I think it would be quite fun to be able to get up, wander around, have a little look at the world, and then sort of get back in the truck. I think you can do it with the camera mode, which they seem to have put on the plus key, which is where I had originally mapped my opening and shutting of the windows. So, just a little annoying. That is very cool. I do love the spoiler on this thing. I think it looks great. So one of the other things with this game is there are lots of things that were given, and I do think I will do a tutorial as well at some point. One of the things that was recommended to me is this looking left and right with your head. I mean, that's a game changer in the way that you play the game, because it really does. It's one of those things you can put a mirror in the centre and kind of cheat your way through. Stay put. Thank you. And cheat your way through it all, but looking left and right is so much more fun. I mean, it's a recommendation from Bobster. Sort of the advanced coupling, that's another fantastic addition if you decide to do it on your version of it. The slight the changing the density of traffic, also a fantastic thing to do. Don't go mental with it though, because it was designed for more testing purposes than it was for necessarily implementation. But it does make for a fun game. You're just going to pull out on me, aren't you? Yeah, of course you are. Yep, of course you are. You know, that's down in the description below, and then of course we've got the number of incidents on the road. We have reduced those down slightly. I think it's at 40%. You know, in real life you don't get that many incidents on the road. However, the other day I was in a traffic jam, and I sat there for 25 minutes. The lights changed twice. Not twice, 3 times. It was 3 times before I got through the traffic lights. I was so annoyed. You know, when those things. And the thing is, I wouldn't buy so much, but the way they're working on, they've been working on for ages and ages and ages and ages. So, you know, it's an interesting one. All right. There we go. Pulling past him. Check his position on the road. We are going back in. Kind of obsessed by that. I don't know about anybody else, but in the UK road rules suggest, so well, don't suggest, tell you that if you have to move back to the left-hand side on the motorway and be in the left-hand side at a reasonable speed, that's where you should be. You shouldn't be sat in the middle lanes, sort of trundling along. You need to move. You need to move over, and it drives me nuts, especially where I live. There's no excuse not to, simply because the road traffic is not as dense as some other places in the country where you end up sort of ball-necked in all sort of 3 or 4 lanes across the motorway. And we literally have the opportunity to move over to our left-hand side. It drives me nuts when people don't. It really does. It's one of my little bugbear things. It's one of those. That whole I start in the left, I go right through the middle, then to the outside lane, and then come back across them, so that I go back into the left just to prove a point. You know that when they're not, you know, they'll be doing like 50 miles per hour on a road that's 70, and they do 50 miles per hour, and you go, why are you doing 50? Why? What have I done to you to upset you? So yeah, it's not one of my favourite things in the that when people do that. And to be fair, you get fined for it. It's £100 fine. It's not technically not legal to do that. Sugar, stay put. It's me. I really need to adjust the sensitivity on this on the steering wheel. I get so excited by it. Whoa. Oh, they've had a little impact. It's been a little crash. Thankfully, it wasn't me for a change. 3 hours and 6 minutes to go. It's a decent run, this one. It's a decent run. The sun is setting. We saw it rise. We're seeing it set. We're doing a very bad job of actually getting the timing right for travelling during the day. And I think somebody said in the comments for American Truck Simulator that it's 11 hours for sleep, I think. So I really need to time it better, especially as I'm now I'm in Texas. So if you haven't watched the American Truck Simulator, I'm in Texas now. That's where we are at. We've gone into Texas. The Lone Star State. I'm not sure why it's a Lone Star. It's just a big state or something like that, so it's really big. Sounds like the name of a cowboy as well, doesn't it? Brave Star. Do you remember Brave Star? That was something we had as a kid.
Keep left.
Ah, nearly ended up as part of my Nearly ended up as part of my truck. Some dynamic photography from me. Woo! Lovely. 50 miles per hour. 2 hours and 43. Funny thing about service stations, though, I don't see them. Apart from where they build new motorways, that's when you get new service stations. They're all quite old. They're all of the time that motorways were first built. So they're all quite dated, aren't they? I don't think anybody's going to stick them in a thing and say, oh, you know, it's this service station needs preservation. Ah! Christ. That was close. Yeah, nobody's going to preserve one of these things. I mean, there's some of them in sort of Lancashire where they're tall like tower things, and I don't think I've ever been up in it. I'm assuming it's a lift to get to the top of it. but it's sort of tall, towery thing. And I think to myself, at the time they were like, yeah, we can use concrete like that. Lots and lots of reinforced concrete. It'll look lovely, and it'll only last 20 years. Nobody will keep that for more than 20 years, and then 50 or 60 years later, there it is, blooming, still a monstrosity in the sky. Of course, seen as pretty at the time. And there's nothing wrong with concrete, by the way. I do like concrete when used in the right sort of ways. Problem with concrete is it doesn't really last. It's heavily affected by just stay put. Christ. Yep. I knew that was going to happen. He struck me coming out of there, and then he struck the other truck. Yep. Nowhere to go. Anyway, so where were we? Yeah, so I mean, concrete when used in lovely ways is really good, but I'll be honest, it doesn't really like the cold and the wet and things like that. I mean, I'm very unlucky to have a concrete road on my street. My street is reinforced concrete road, which means that when the council comes and repairs it, they don't repair it with concrete. They repair it with tarmac, which doesn't really work very well. It's like the two things they grind, and then basically the potholes turn up back again. However, they are hard wearing. I mean, they last and whatever else is. But once the water gets into them and they freeze, they crack. I mean, my drive is actually concrete as well, and water has got into it, and as a result, it has cracked. So it is what it is. But it's just I can't believe we're driving at night again already. It's the time of the year. I was looking out the window the other day, and it was 5 o'clock or 5:30, and it was pitch black outside, and I was like, really? Time of the year, though, isn't it? Time of the year. I want to come over here because I know for a fact when we go through. Whoa! Oh! That Volvo nearly ended up as part of the front of the truck. Auto pass time. Auto pass. €58 paid. On we go. 1 hour and 45 minutes. 126 kilometres to go. I'll just stay in this lane and avoid any undue nasties from anybody coming at me. Indicators. Nobody underneath me. Yep, we'll come over. Wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. Beautiful truck. I am enjoying this truck, actually, to be honest with you. A friend of mine sent me a selection. He sent me a 30 good mods to add to your truck simulator. I don't think he realises that bar the alteration to the configuration file, I'm basically playing it vanilla with the DLC that comes with it. I think I've said this to him before, but he was like, yeah, but you can get a mod that makes your truck look dirty. Yeah, I know, but why would I want to make my truck dirty? It looks lovely. One that cracks your windscreen. Why would you want a cracked windscreen to drive with? I suppose it adds to the thing. I don't think I've ever driven with a cracked windscreen before. Oh no, it's not true. I have. Somebody, but that was not my car. I was taking another company car, and somebody split it in the bottom left-hand corner of it. There was a split that they'd hit it. Somebody had flicked up off the road, and they basically had split this thing. That truck's very dark over there. The darkness. Oh, there we go. Lights now. I'm keeping left. But yeah, I had a split windscreen. I don't think I've ever had a split windscreen before. I've lost a window in the side, but that was to somebody trying. Well, that's not trying. Somebody stealing a stereo. I think I've been through that. I've told you that story before, but yeah, somebody stole a stereo and smashed the side window. Don't realise how cold it is when you're driving back in a winter's day with a window that's smashed. It's a bit chilly. He says, not moving over lane-wise here. Okay, there's a police car. Somebody's been stopped. A truck. Whoa, got past them fast. I went past them at speed, though. What the heck are you doing? What's that? My God, what's that about, fella? Swerving across the road for... Oh, hang on. We're coming off at this next one anyway.
Right.
Coming off here. 45 minutes. Keep right. I'm going to keep right. I'm going to come off from Montpellier.
Exit right.
Montpellier. It doesn't have... It sounds like I should know something about Montpellier. Football team? Yes. Wine? Are they a wine country? Well, it's France. It's all wine country. Sorry, I'll rephrase that. Are they famous for a particular type of wine? Because of course you've got champagne, which comes from Champagne. So you can't have champagne unless you come from Champagne, theoretically. Well, no, it's actually legal. EU rules. You can't make champagne unless you live in that. I guess that's a region. It's like you can't make from my region. You can't make. Oh shit! Well, we're going at speed off this one. You can't make, for instance, Cumberland sausage unless you live in Cumberland. Which is a spiced, quite a thick spiced sausage that we make. But yes, you can only make Cumberland sausage in Cumberland. You can only make Melton Mowbray pork pies in Melton Mowbray. You can make pork pies elsewhere. You can make other sausages, but you can only make Melton Mowbray ones in Melton Mowbray, which, by the way, delicious Melton Mowbray pork pies. And so is Cumberland sausage. Actually, I like a bit of Cumberland sausage, a bit of Cumberland. Delicious spiced meat. Spicy sausage. That's not that spicy, but it's a sausage anyway. There's no lines on the road. We're almost at our destination. We're delivering our hot sauces. It's chili. It's a truck full of chili. That's what it is. We're going to Chem, wherever it is. Sounds like something out of Fallout 4.
Ready to turn left.
A Chem lab. I'm going to find somewhere to park after this, though. This is going to be interesting. Almost there.
Turn left.
I love the way that those X's reflect. You know, the way you can't go, the roads you can't go, they reflect in your windows and your mirrors. So weird. I know, I get it. They technically would reflect because they're like in their environment. But you would think, I don't know. I don't suppose it would be very easy to turn that off. If that makes sense. Yeah, I know, we're there. I can see it. Yeah, we'll roll into one of these.
Finally, we are here.
Remember that day I did one of these in the middle of the night? Oh, when it was raining as well. Oh, horrendous. Yeah. That one there. Fair enough. Let's use some space. I hadn't noticed the ladder on it before. The ladder to get onto the top of it. That's kind of cool. A little bit of reversing going on. I think I've got better at it. I still sometimes, some days though, I'm just awful. I like it. I'm liking the more complex parking jobs as well. The ones that are really complex. I know I gave up on one recently, but that was more because my back was hurting than necessarily for any other good reason of it. I gave up one on American Truck Simulator as well, which was like a multi. It had like 3 different articulated bits to the lorry. It was really, really, really difficult, and I'd really made a mistake the way I'd got in, and I got myself jammed. So there was no answer to that one. There we go. It's not perfect, but it'll do. We're right next to that little... I can't wait until I come out here. There we go. Show the results. 817 kilometres. Good bit of experience. Have I got another point? Yes, I have. What does that mean, though? Because I think I've maxed everything out. Yeah, I've maxed everything out. I've got all my experience. So for instance, my skills here, maxed out. Can't do any more. Just all I've got now is just to become elite. I'm elite already. I don't know what other statuses you get. I assume you get another one when we get further up. I'm rated a 10 for this. I'm pretty special. I'm a special boy. Right, okay, let's see if we can find something here. Let's find this. Must be somewhere to park nearby. Where's the closest place to park? It's probably here. I'll be honest. Oh, not that side of the road. Yeah, that'll do. God, it's quite a way away. But it'll do. It'll do. We'll get there, and then we'll park up for the night. And at least it'll be morning for our next adventure, which is really good. It's going to be interesting.
Drive safe.
There we go. Came out of that okay. Not a problem. Chimey. Chemical chimey.
Turn right.
Yeah, we're alright.
Get ready to turn
To the stop sign. It's a good time, actually, because it means the next episode will definitely be a daytime adventure, which is good. Well, to be fair, most of this was daytime after we got through the night. I know that's just totally ridiculous what I've just said there.
Get ready to turn right.
Talking total rubbish as usual. I've enjoyed this episode, though. I hope you have too. I really want to know, in a strange sort of way, where's the best services you've ever been to, I guess that applies to truck stops and all kinds of things. Where's the best one you've been to? Because there are some interesting places out there. I could almost do that. If I retire at some point, I could even do a book on service stations. I'd love to do that. That'd be blooming brilliant. Or books nowadays, maybe YouTube videos or something on it. That'd be cool. Should really do one of my favourite service stations, just for the hell of it, for Euro Truck Simulator. Put a little insert into it at the beginning of it all. Drew a little journey. I just think they're brilliant. That's all. Very interesting. Life in those places is I guess it's like the airport thing, where when you're at the airport and everybody has to go through the same points and everybody's trying to get to their holiday or wherever else it is. I guess it's that same sort of scenario. You're all bundled in the same location. You're all traveling. You're all doing that kind of thing. I think it's probably very much a similar scenario. Just bombing along the road here. It's so much different to drive without the load on board. You can just get up to speed. You can go quite quickly. You can sort of whiz along. It was a good delivery, actually, that one. I was quite pleased with that one. I have had some smashes. I would say that all the smashes in this episode that were not my fault, though. What do you say? I think the impacts occurred because they drove into me, and even the case where I got fined for it. I know there was one where I got fined, but I think that wasn't my fault. I think that was because the car swooped in from the other side of the road and caught me as I was coming across. And I mean, there's no accounting for that. If you were doing that anyway in a normal car and somebody swooped across you, you'd probably end up sideswiping them. I don't think and because I think in the UK, because they were coming from behind, I think I was in the right and they were in the wrong, because they struck me from behind. And in the UK, anytime you've been struck from behind, it's always the driver who hits you from behind who's at fault, because they're the one who's the ability to stop. So because they can see you in front of them effectively as well, which makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? So yeah, I think in that particular occasion, I think I was unjustly fined for that particular one. Here's our services now. This is a monster services.
Keep right.
This is a monster.
Then exit right.
What's a beauty? Look at this.
Exit right.
That's Bjork. Just quiet. So quiet. I don't know any other songs. Icelandic lady, wasn't she? She's still alive, isn't she? She's Iceland, a country where anything could be number one in their sales chart, because realistically they've got so few people live there. It's 250,000 people live in all of Iceland, and they've got so few people who live there that if you write a song, you can also become number one, because they'll just play it, because there's so little in the way of new Icelandic music. So Bjork was like number one in Iceland, but so was the folk music band of the over 60s as well at the same time. So that kind of thing. Right, let's press the enter key and let's get the night time done. There we go. Perfect. Oh my God, look at that baby. Look at that. Look at that truck. She's a beauty. F3. No, it's not F3. Wrong one. Escape. F4. No, it's F5. Pushing the wrong buttons here. That one. There we go. Look at that. Wow. Fantastic truck. There we go. Put that back on again. Anyway, I've been your host, Real Genetic Demon. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to like and subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye now.